I boarded a plane without my sister and left her, her husband, and her 3 kids behind at the airport. So my sister Amy and I were supposed to fly home together for Thanksgiving. I'm 21 and in college in the same town where she lives with her husband and 3 kids. Our parents and the rest of the family are about a 6-hour flight away. Here's the thing about my brother-in-law Mike. He's an alcoholic, not like a casual drinker who sometimes has too much. I mean, every single event where there's alcohol ends with him yelling at someone, throwing things, or starting fights. It's exhausting and embarrassing every time. I got to the airport about an hour and a half before boarding and found Amy at the gate looking completely stressed out. She had all 3 kids with her, ages 6, 3, and 9 months, plus all their bags and car seats and snacks and toys. Mike was nowhere to be seen. For that entire hour and a half, he never came to check on her once. She was chasing a toddler, bouncing a crying baby, and trying to keep the 6-year-old entertained all by herself while also watching everyone's luggage. I helped as much as I could, but I kept wondering where the heck her husband was. Then right when they called for boarding, Mike comes staggering over to the gate. He could barely walk straight, his eyes were red, and he reeked of alcohol. He'd clearly been at the airport bar the entire time getting wasted while his wife struggled alone with 3 small children. Amy tried to talk to him about getting in line, and he immediately started getting loud. Not just talking loud, but yelling at her in the middle of the airport. People were staring, the kids looked scared. I was already in the boarding line because we had different groups. I watched the whole thing unfold from about 20 feet away. Security guards walked over to them and started talking to Mike. He got even more aggressive with them. Within like 2 minutes, they told him he wasn't getting on that plane. Amy waved me over, so I got out of line and walked to where they were standing. She looked panicked and said they weren't letting Mike fly. I asked if I should take his seat so she wouldn't be alone with all 3 kids on a 6-hour flight. Seemed like the obvious solution. She looked at me like I was crazy. "No, I need help with him," she said, pointing at Mike, who was still arguing with security. I asked if she was planning to stay behind and deal with his mess. She said yes. That's when I told her I probably couldn't help then. Her kids are way too young to fly alone, and they'd need their mom. She got confused and then said she expected me to stay behind with her to help sort everything out. I said no, flat out no. Traveling during the holidays is a nightmare, and there probably wouldn't be enough seats on later flights for all of us. Plus, who even knew if Mike would be allowed to fly at all after causing a scene with security? Amy started crying and said she didn't know what to do. That if Mike got arrested or banned from flying, she couldn't handle the kids and deal with him at the same time. I told her that wasn't my problem to solve. I said Mike isn't a child who needs supervision. He's a grown man who decided to get drunk at an airport while his wife took care of 3 kids alone. She could just get on the plane with me and let him face the consequences of his own choices. She said he was her responsibility. That really set me off. I told her if she knew how he gets when he drinks, and if he was really her responsibility, then she should have done something to prevent this before it happened. That everything going on right now was completely on her. She chose to marry an alcoholic, not me. I wasn't going to miss Thanksgiving with our family because her husband can't control himself. I got back in line and boarded the plane. I watched through the window as they walked away from the gate, Amy pushing a stroller with one hand and holding the toddler with the other while Mike stumbled along behind them. When I landed, my parents were thrilled to see me. But then my mom found out what happened and she was furious. She said I should have stayed to support my sister. Half my family thinks I was insensitive for what I said to Amy. The other half thinks I was right to not let Mike's behavior ruin my holiday too. Amy and the kids eventually made it home 2 days later. Mike had to fly separately after sobering up and apologizing to the airline. Amy still hasn't really talked to me about it. She just keeps saying I abandoned her when she needed me most.